George Latimer defeated Democratic Congressman Jamaal Bowman in New York's primary. Jamaal Bowman faced a competitive primary due to his criticism of the Israel-Hamas war, and his primary challenger had the support and financial backing of AIPAC and much of the local establishment. And in New York, George Latimer defeated Democratic Congressman Jamaal Bowman in a primary race on Tuesday that was dominated by Israel's war in Gaza. And while the race focused on a war that's happening thousands of miles away, and it also showed how all politics is local. And here to talk more about this incumbent defeat in WNYC, Mitchell Bocanegra. Welcome. And Mitchell Bocanegra says that, so I know that you spent a very late night last night and reviewing all the results in this race. And what more can you tell us about how voters seem to have sided in this district? And Bocanegra says that, so just for perspective, the district runs from the North Bronx to southern Westchester, and it largely suburban. But it does have some dense urban areas, and like Yonkers, and where Bowman has done well in previous elections. And this time around, Bowman did well in the Bronx, while Latimer did well in Westchester County, and which does make up most of the district. And when we're talking to voters, and what are some of the reasons that they give you for why they choose to back Latimer? And Bocanegra says that, so pro-Israel voters who were offended by some of Bowman's criticisms of Israel have accused him of anti-Semitism, and which sort of made Latimer as the pro-Israel Democrat in the race, and sort of the clear choice in that regard. And he is backed by the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, or AIPAC, and which of course has spent a lot of money on the race. But I think most importantly, and for focus at home, and Latimer is really a local politician who has decades of boots on the ground, and talking to people in the district, and meeting with elected officials and all that stuff. And so here is Latimer just dismissing what he considers and ideological extremes that really run counter to what he feels in his pragmatist approach toward this government. And George Latimer says that we have to look at the arguments of the far right and the far left and say again, you can't destroy this country. And Bocanegra says that, and his win rally represents sort of a return of the traditional democratic norms that had ruled over New York's more moderate and suburbs to the north of the city. And what is interesting about that is Bowman was viewed as the guy that sort of took on the establishment back in 2020 in his Democratic primary against Elliot Engel, and who has 16-term incumbent, and who lost that year to Bowman. But what about the rule of money? Because wasn't this like the most expensive house primary in the US so far? Like, how did money influence this race, you think? And Bocanegra says that, yes, actually, it definitely was, and I think is the most evident answer as far as what voters in the district will tell you, and is that was this onslaught of political advertising attacking candidates that they just really weren't used to prior to this race, and it was really a lot for people to stomach. And for progressive who are concerned about the United States role in the war in Gaza, they think this outcome and Latimer won and could potentially have a silencing effect not just on pro-Palestinian sentiment but also just a host of other progressive issues. And here is Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont on Saturday talking about how other Congress members could be afraid to speak out on other issues important to progressives if Bowman lost the race. And Bernie Sanders says that they are going to be looking all around them, and they are going to be seeing, and is the billionaire class going to spend millions of dollars against me in my campaign. And real quick, Mitchell, because this was such a continuous race for a primary. And where do you think Democrats in New York go from here? And Bocanegra says that I think that part remains to be seen, and a voter I talked to at a Pullman rally in the district with Bernie Sanders last week says it's going to be difficult considering how focused it all has become. And this fracture is coming at a time when Democrats are seeking to retake the majority in the House. And with a sleep, by the way, of suburban districts just to north of New York City and out on Long Island, really being key factors here. And this is the Mitchell Bocanegra with WNYC in New York. And thank you so much, Mitchell. Thank you.